initiative statement. It's more than a slogan. You can hear that. It's more than talking about a future. It's actually committing to a future. It's designed to start a future. It starts now. Here's where we're headed. We have noticed that it's important to stay positive and focus on the goal rather than saying all the bad things that will happen if we don't do this. People are much more inclined to get on board if it's attractive and it's going someplace positive. So your worksheets on the inside page are going to ask you the question about what you could initiate. And this is for you to make a note, and we can talk about it. We'll have you pick one to do some work on. But make a note of 3 futures that you would like to see happen. And I don't mean pie in the sky things. I mean things that you could actually engage in. Thinking about the future, very often when we start thinking about that, we think of all the barriers. And we don't allow ourselves to think about a future that we'd like to see happen. We tend to think of the how and gets mired in how to make something happen before we allow ourselves a free vision of what might be possible. So for this part of this session, if you would make a note of 3 futures that you'd like to see happen, let yourself stretch a little bit. So just take a minute. Anybody have one you'd like to share or would be willing to share? Yeah.
First one on my list is a productive purchasing unit.
A productive purchasing unit. Now you can see the way she said it. She's actually envisioned something that could be in the future. It's not that way now, but I mean, we can tell. But she's actually, well, that you're actually envisioning a future in which the purchasing department is productive. Now, we don't know, we haven't gotten into the details on that. We don't know how and so on. But as you were thinking about that future, any obstacles pop up for you?
Oh, of course.
See, that's where, isn't it funny? That's where we get kind of dragged off into the impossibility of some things. But good for you. Good statement of the future. Anybody else got one?
Well, I want to change our billing process and running into a few roadblocks.
So what would the billing process be like? What would be its most...
I want to do billing right at where the patients are, whereas right now it is very, very far removed.
So billing at the patient, what, when they come in?
No, at the end, when they finish seeing their physician or the clinic, I want billing to happen right
The
then.
billing happens at the end of the patient visit, instead of the billing happening by going around the barn and through the back 40 in the woods. Billing happens at the... Now you can see, taking an extra moment to articulate that statement, to say, to find the words, what do we want to see happening? Now that's something people could at least imagine, that billing could happen at the close of the patient visit. And that's a future that doesn't exist now. And notice the way you said it at first, that you want to change the billing process. Guess what happens when we tell people that?
They become very defensive.
Change. You want to change something. Oh no. But when you've stated a future, it kind of automatically lets people stand there with you and imagine that that could even happen. Now yes, there's all the how and the resources and all of that to deal with, but you've stated a future. Very important. What do we want to accomplish? Say some specifics about what this future will look like and how we will know when we succeed. Very important. We've got to be able to know that we're winning. What's the scoreboard? When do we want it to happen? Any specific dates or timelines or milestones? You don't even have to think in terms of time like on the calendar. You can think in terms of milestones. Well, if we got this much done for that billing process, that would be the first milestone. We don't even have to put it in time right away. You can bring some of that into the understanding conversations. We'll get to that in a minute. But you want to be able to say something about when, something about the time, and why does it matter? Clear value, clear impact. What difference would this make?
A quick comment on the value. The value, not the value to you, but the value. See, for her, if I pick on your, so if you got the coordination to happen, it might make your job easier, right?
But that's not the, yeah, it would,
Yeah.
but that's not the end
Right.
result.
So, exactly. So the thing is, well, it'll make it easier to coordinate and be easy, but why would I want to do that? So the value is kind of looking over there, what would be the value that they would be identified with? What would be the value for them? What's the value that people would want to be attracted to? Like if you go back to the Kennedy speech, he said it would be important. For some people, the fact that it would be an important scientific accomplishment was worth it. They didn't care about the Russians and they didn't care about anything else. For others, it was important because we beat the Russians. Okay? And I don't care about the science, I don't care about anything. We're going to beat the Ruskies. So there's different things that he said, all of which made it valuable for them. It wasn't necessarily what was valuable for him, what he would get out of it, but what would become available.
So look at the value, the why does it matter? These are the accomplishment ingredients. These are the things that you can begin to take to people as part of your initiative statement. So this is an important piece of designing your statement. Prepare to deliver it. How you prepare to deliver your initiative statement is by using the resource ingredients. Who is involved? Who will participate? Now sometimes when you start looking at who the players are in this initiative, this new future you're going to create, you'll see that there are different kinds of players. Some people will be worker bees. Some people will be backbench waiting. They're not going to get in with a shovel and work with you. They're going to wait and maybe come on board later. Or maybe you have different kinds of jobs. With the example of billing, for example, billing at the end of the patient visit, there are several kinds of jobs there. There are jobs that are administrative. There are jobs that involve using the computer in certain ways and perhaps new ways. There are changes in the clinical practice, the communication from the nurse to the administrator. There are a variety of different jobs that call for different talents. So take them, jot down what you see about the who might be involved in your new future. What kind of skills you need, who would be the users, who are the biggest advocates, who might be opponents. See who the players are. Because you've got your own bubble network for whatever future you want to have. This is a part of your roadmap. And who needs to hear about it? Who do you need to tell? Who do you need to enroll, engage, get activated? Let's look at where. Another resource ingredient, the where. Where will the benefits show up? Where will the resources be? Where will the results happen? Where will the work get done? And the more specific you can get about some of these things, the more useful. These are the questions, and by the way, for some of you who have a real no-kidding thing you want to make happen, you can take this page back and work with them. That's part of the understanding conversation. We'll get to it in a minute, but you want to engage people in thinking of future and helping them not get tripped up by all those obstacles and the why it'll never work. And we tried it in 1994 and all of that. So, and then the last one, how might the work get done? It's useful to consider yourself as collecting these things. Do not rush to embrace a how it will get done and get wedded to it too soon. But it's useful in your initiative state to start addressing this, knowing that you are going to get lots of suggestions, knowing you're going to get lots of input and ideas and feedback, some of which may sound like resistance, by the way. You can take what appears to be resistance that often happens around the how and actually decode it and put it to work for you. Did you have something?
No,
She's laughing.
yes.
Have you encountered resistance to change at some point in your career? It's a huge label, isn't it, for a whole category of behaviors, but it's, don't get too specific about the how, but definitely start thinking about it. and start collecting ideas about it. Make some notes to yourself. So this gives you your initiative statement